All right, hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Looks like it. Sound bar's up, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Um, I am clearing my throat, and I'm gonna apologize now. Coughing a little bit. It looks like I'm finally succumbing to the plague that everybody else had. I think having the I think having that night of the boy and the girl, I think ended up is what got me. So we'll see. I do have the boy today. Melissa has I guess a big client meeting. She's it's funny. She actually she can hear me through the wall, so she actually went to the boys' room. So she's presenting in the boys' room. I am upstairs, so we'll see how the old internet connection handles it today. Yeah, Debbie, and actually, Debbie, it's probably a combination of a few things. It's probably like the boy Maryland was 77 degrees 2 days ago, and now it's 40, right? So I typically get not sick, but like you know, we had like the first inklings of like pollen and everything coming out 2 days ago because it was we had like a day over 60, then it was like 73, and then it went up to 79. And now it's back to 40. So Mother Nature's drunk in Maryland typically. And whenever that happens, it tends to, my like head doesn't feel great afterwards, just the pressure differential. So, but the coughing could be from allergies. It could be from boy sickness. I don't know. Who knows? It's just one of those things. But I do have the little boy with me today. So he's on my lap. We'll see how long he's going to, hopefully he makes it the entire hour. We'll see. But if I have to cut it short, that's why. Probably because Buddy is tired or bored of sitting. He does have his pacifier. He's turning into a huge pacifier kid, which is funny. But he went like 4 months without using it, and then good old dad gets to watch him for a while, and now he's like addicted to his pacifier. So my wife's like, "Jin never did this." I'm like, "Cause you didn't want it." Anyway, in the last 24 hours, you can see the euro is up big. It's really spiked a lot in the last half hour. Some headlines coming through. The Zelensky aide basically says that diplomatic solutions are ready to talk. We're there on the table, but I thought that had always been the case, right? They just they said that we can distrust neutrality and the need for a security guarantee. I don't think the security decree, the security guarantee is just complete like bull. Um, I honestly don't even know why they would bring that up because they technically already had a security agreement when they agreed to give up all the nuclear weapons and they sent them back to Russia. That was basically, with the guarantee that they had a security agreement that they could not be invaded or would not be invaded. So yeah, I don't know why I would. I don't even. I have no idea why they're doing that. Um, yeah. And then last but not least, they basically said that, um, you know, risk on, instant pop, markets getting giddy, but they basically said that we won't trade a single inch of territories. So I don't know if that includes Crimea or if they've already written that one off. I don't actually know how that is going, but as they shouldn't, there shouldn't be a dispute. And it's like, hey, you're going to slice off more of a pie to us. So, I guess there's, Russia's thing was don't join NATO. It's close. We need a buffer. Ukraine has said, okay, well, we're not sold on the, NATO. I actually think the Ukraine is quite soured on NATO at this point. I don't know where that puts them in the grand scheme of things, but they've made some pretty pointed comments at this point. They're like taking they're getting all the free weapons and everything, all these individual countries, and it's kind of like why deal with the drama of NATO, right? If all these countries are just going to give us war materials anyway. Um, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think at this point it's he basically just said too that we're at like our are like kind of maximum risk right now. Obviously, there's the invasion has not gone according to plan or not as fast. I don't know at this point. A lot of the talks there was an agreement this morning that Russia said they would allow more civilians to leave. I almost feel like I feel like what he's doing is like okay. Like I think like 1.5 million people have left. It's like how many people need to leave before there's no one left to defend, So, and if all the civilians have left, it makes it easier to blow the cities up. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird scenario, but I feel like Putin at this point is probably looking for an exit strategy. I feel like you know is the world over for Russia? No. I mean, I think that they have many resources and things, and they were probably still just fine. Um, I was joking with Todd yesterday because McDonald's said that they're going to temporarily close their locations. There's 850 locations, right? I don't believe. Maybe I'm wrong, and please, if there's someone out there that knows, please correct me. If Putin eats at McDonald's and these billionaire oligarchs are eating in McDonald's, please let me know because I'm pretty sure that they are not eating McDonald's. So is it really, trying to incite a revolution by cutting off McDonald's? I don't know. I thought that that was pretty interesting. I feel like this is our cancer culture on an entire country at this point. But I don't know. Maybe Putin likes his McRibs, and I joked to Todd. I'm like McDonald's business model works because they are location based, right? They always have like the ideal locations. Like sometimes you'll see them right down the street from each other. It's all location based. That's how they determine where it is. McDonald's is a very interesting business model. They own the land, and they lease it back to the owners of the stores. I feel like, I mean, right now, if we are going to go claw back, billionaire yachts, I feel like the Russian state could just take over the locations, take them, like legally take them from, and be like, hey, listen, we now own these. You closed, you've abandoned Russia. We are going to take over these McDonald's. We can call them McPutins. And I joked, I'm like, yeah, Todd, they'll have a new, protester McRib sandwich. I feel like they've done the hard work. They've built the infrastructure. All the machines are in them. All Putin's got to do is feed them with beef and employees. And hey, you got McPutins, right? McPutins. The only way to end this is to go Saddam on Putin. Yeah, maybe, but you know, unfortunately, Ernest, he has many more greased palms. And actually, there's actually an entire movement now supporting Putin. This whole Z movement thing. So, um, like I say, you know, I am not. I have no stake in the matter whatsoever, but I do, from what you're seeing, like from some of the outlets, and again, I'm sure we're censored what we can actually see. Um, there's actually a lot of Russian citizens that are actually kind of annoyed that and kind of bothered that they're just trying to destroy the country because there's plenty of civilians. I mean, they're I feel like he's starting to get more ground. Like they didn't support the war, but then the sanctions against the populace, I feel like, are starting to kind of backfire. And I actually do think I talked about it yesterday with Todd's group. I do think the weaponizing the dollar is the wrong way to go. I feel like that will accelerate the I feel like that will accelerate the need to remove the dollar as the world currency, and then we're screwed. So, yep, that's my shtick, and I'm sticking with it. Anyway, 10:30 day, we have crude oil coming in. Should be interesting. Why? Because of this, right? So, yeah, we're all the drama yesterday was caused because of a 3%, 3% of what the total oil supply is, but yet on a weekly basis now we have a 2.8 million surplus. So yeah. So yeah. So oil was obviously getting blasted earlier today. We'll see how it fans out. Some of the headlines again, like I said, it's all been about it's more peaceful stuff, and again, the euro is reacting positively to it. Tomorrow morning, super early, we have the monetary policy statement out of Europe. Euro's up big today. Question is it going to be crashing tomorrow? Europe is basically held off on any type of interest rate talk, rises, anything. Ronald McPutin. There you go. Ronald McPutin. Right? Yeah, Lavrov is a weird dude. But I feel like he would have to smile. But I could see the clown nose, right? It's either the sanctions all or either way civilians will be affected. Yeah, I mean, there's, I don't know, Ernest. I agree and disagree at the same time. Like, we're not going to do all out war because of the nuclear deterrent. That's why the nuclear deterrent exists. But I feel like if you've been very from the very beginning, in all reality, if we start sending warplanes, there's no different than us going to full out war. We've already sent missiles. We've sent billions of dollars. They just approved a $13 billion package to send more weapons. Like our economy screwed up. What could you have done with that $13 billion? Could you have, I don't know, given a stimulus to the United States to make up for the difference because of the cost of the global energy crisis right now? Probably, right? For the amount of money that we are now giving them just in weapons, could we have offset, you know, why, there's a lot that could be done, right? But cutting off civilians is no different than bombing a civilian. If you've cut off food and water and the ability to get those basic essential needs, you're no better than the person dropping the bomb. So, but yes, I agree. Putin is crazy. I feel like he should have been bottlenecked way sooner. I think there was not strong enough warning for him to not. Again, when we said that we're not going to the Ukraine, he's like, okay, you're not going, I'm going. But if we had matched him lockstep for lockstep to defend, then I think it would have been a little bit different of a story. But yeah, I'm not for the passivity on that one. I feel like the only way to deal with a bully is to stand up to a bully, not make threats. And again, now more civilians have to pay. Is kind of my take on it. Um, and now what do we have? Now we have China making threats to the United States that don't you dare try to form a Pacific form of NATO to protect Taiwan. And we have other crazies out there as well. So now China is being emboldened. It's like, oh, that's all you're going to do? Okay, sure. So and again, China has enough people, enough resources. A China Russia kind of pact, that's not something that we can't really go there. I mean, technically, financially, if China wanted to ruin the United States, they actually have the power to do it. So yeah, I mean, we're making friends in all the right places. Is kind of where it boils out. So again, you don't take a strong stance on these people; they're going to run wild. They're going to push the boundaries, and they've done it. So, but yeah, McPutin's that'll be the next thing. Look for the T-shirts next week. We'll have McPutin T-shirts. Um, so that'll be the next thing we see. But again, 142 in the euro dollar. Great move. Great move. And again, you're seeing pound dollar. Euro pound up 66. Again, you're seeing that continued strength all green across the board. And pound yen 94. So coming back up into its daily ATR range. And again, we're seeing a little bit of dollar evaporation here as well. So, EU budget rules. Let me see. Says still premature to ask the EU for changes for national recovery plan in light of the Ukraine crisis. Look, increase domestic gas production by 5 billion cubic meters. There you go. Everybody's doing their part. I love this. We're like, hey, we're going to increase it. We could have done that before, but yeah. Funny. Everybody keeps those resources locked in. All right, so let's go over to charts. Yeah, VIX is still holding firm down here at 7. I was trying to see if VIX is delayed by 10 minutes, but I was trying to see what it was going to do with the open. Dollar is finally kind of collapsing back again, right? So yesterday we talked about this. We were sitting up in here. It was like, listen, it's having a hard time going any higher, any higher, any higher, any higher. Look for a potential pullback, and we did. We got a really, really big pullback. Question is, where do we stop with the dollar? I think a lot of the dollar movement too is kind of a market pre-movement for tomorrow's CPI. I think the CPI number tomorrow is going to be a major deal. And again, this will be before we talk. It's expected to be 0.8. It was expected, it was 0.6 before, but look at this. Okay. They actually don't do a really good job of forecasting CPI month over month. Okay. Typically, they are missing. Now, there is one here in September that they missed. They got one right, and then they missed it, right? They were a little bit too strong. And then they've been weak. They keep missing. So again, this was a 0.2 difference, a 0.1, a 0.1, a 0.3, a 0.1. This one, they missed it by 0.1 in the other direction. So assume that we have a 0.1 to 0.2, right? Split the difference of 0.15. We're up to 0.95, almost 1% difference in CPI over the last month, right? In the cost of goods, right? So that's a big jump in 1 month, okay? And that's not even taking into account all of the changes that we've had in the last week, right? With the price of oil, the shipping costs are going to go higher. So what is the forecast going to be for next month? So I think a lot of this dollar destruction is in preparation for a big number tomorrow, and I think it's the ability to get long. And again, what does that do? That kind of counterbalances the euro here, really probably the dollar CAD, and even the Aussie. The Aussie is going up again in preparation for tomorrow. So we're seeing weak dollar in preparation for that for tomorrow. So that's where we're sitting with the dollar index. Okay. Aussie dollar is at a very interesting spot right now. We drew it yesterday, the high to low, 50% retracement. We're sitting there right now. Again, thus far this morning, really from the European session, which started right there, straight up. And now we're having problems right up there. And again, it didn't hit the 50. It's hit the supply zone that's boxing around the 50. So, are we in short territory? Yeah, we're pretty close. I mean, we're right there. I mean, it's technically should be right there. It's technically triggered. Our 1 to 3 is right there. So again, the profit target is lining up exactly where it should inside of that position. We're now approaching 950, and we've seen a little bit of movement, right? A little bit of dollar weakness, but if we start to turn and roll, there you go, right? We have that double double in there, that 50% and a supply zone all at the same time. The question is, do we push any higher? Do we allow, are the 50 percenters allowed to get in, or are they going to get front run? Okay. I just moved and somebody jumped. Hold on, I have something really, really funny. Um, all right, sorry. Um, Debbie, you'll appreciate this. So I look down, check the score, Debbie. That's what I I looked at, like somebody moved and I looked down and he's totally passed out. So normally he's with me for chart school, but today he's passed out. So Aussie dollar gives us a potential short. Aussie yen. So Aussie yen did actually push through. Now again, this wasn't the ideal zone. It sliced through the 50 like it was nothing. It came up and it pushed just a little bit higher over the 61.8, and then we started to get that base at about 5 o'clock this morning. It kicked in right around the 5:30, the reversal that we normally see in the European session, and now it's kind of chopping back through. So although this one is kind of in a similar place, I do actually like this one to go a little bit higher. I'm not ready to roll this one yet. I would say probably wait. And again, if I had to pick the top, I'd say the extreme range of this one, based off of this candle. Now, again, it is a double hit, right? But I like the response. I love this result. As an 80 pip push down from that level, this should be red, not orange. So again, moving this across, I think 80. Oops, let's delete it. I'll put a new one on. Right, 85.36 is kind of where I'm looking for next. And again, does this have the ability to roll? Yeah, it does. I'd say that it's probably forming a zone right here, right? And again, it has the same run. So Aussie dollar, it's there. It's having a hard time going any higher. It has the big push down for the Aussie dollar. Aussie yen, yeah, there's a zone in there. And again, it has stopped out 2 fib levels, but I think this one is also set to push. Yeah, he's got the passy, and he finally let go of the string on my hoodie. He did have it, but my left arm is going to be so numb when I'm done today, Debbie. um, you're yeah. So absolutely 100% understand this, right? This is from 630 forward that it is absolutely surging higher. We talked about the next level where we had a base was just a bit higher. Again, talking about anything piece related, talking about how we have our areas, this is good. The aid is like, yeah, we found this diplomatic solution. No new bombs or anything else. Again, all these things are great. That's why we're seeing the euro surge. Okay. Um, I think it's justified. I'm totally okay with it. We do have 2 levels sitting up here, and again, after this big push, that's let's see, it's about a 70 pip push. So we are well beyond kind of a daily ATR at this point with this 134. It is really kind of set up now for somewhat more of a reversal. So the question is, where do we go long? I'm sorry, where do we go short? Um, Again, we know we have those 2 levels up top. Let's remove these fibs because these fibs don't necessarily matter anymore. Let's take it and reverse it on the other side. And yeah, like right now, if this is the top, you can see there's a lot of buying and selling back and forth in this old yellow area. If we take this up into kind of these upper levels, this becomes a very interesting story somewhere in any of these 2 levels that we have drawn, because all of a sudden what that does is it gives us a base right there, a pop, a base, and then another punch through with a retest. It's going to set up something pretty interesting later on down the road. So if this is the top, again, we already have this area marked at the 50. If we go higher to test one of these levels, now all of a sudden we have a new little level here with some basing before that are popping in. So 84, I think, is where the target is. We're about 20 pips from it right now. I think we get up to that 84 level, that round number. I think it kind of draws us forward, and then we start to roll back down. And again, tomorrow morning, we have the monetary policy statement. If they mention that the Ukraine crisis seems to be a little bit more contained, or anything that is even like the slightest bit hawkish for raising rates, we should see this come tumbling back down again tomorrow. Okay, and that is right there. All right. Nope. It is this right there. Okay, so that's really kind of going to be the linchpin. Okay, do we take a short from that level? Maybe. If not, we look for news, and again, we may get a new base in there, and then again, we probably are looking to take this short. Again, rising interest rates is good, but I just feel like the statement they're going to make is going to be kind of counterpositioned by the market. Now, euro yen. Okay, so euro yen, it ended up bouncing off the 50. We had a zone there. It hit it. It went to about 1.5 to 1 before kind of turning around. It did the 5:30 reversal, which again is the standard kind of reversal time for the European session. All it did was it dropped at base and then pushed higher. So this is probably a stop out, a break even base trade. You were at 1.5, so you're about halfway to our profit target. Should you have taken a loss on that one? No, no. So right now, we're going to turn this yellow and see if we can get some type of a base and above, a push above behind it. Um, and again, this is kind of what we've seen, right? Great European news. War is not getting worse. They're talking about peace. All those are again, they're huge geopolitical events. So not really surprised. Again, on a technical basis, it did work. It did reverse at the right time, but then continue to push higher. So um, as far as the 30-minute goes, there's a few small levels in here. I mean, you can see some basing and a drop, a base, a drop. Two tops right here. The last real super clear one is really all the way back up top. We do have an alert set for that one up at 1:30:07 over here. So I, I I'd like to see where we go from now till tomorrow morning. I mean, it's 200 pips up, so that's quite a big run. You can see that there's basing where we are right now. Let's drop. Let's see if I can clean it up a little bit with an hourly. Yeah. So on an hourly basis, I think the levels that we need to watch out for. Obviously, right around the 78.6, you can see there's basing and a decent drop. So there's a potential level there again for tomorrow. There are some levels in here, not as clean because you had some spikes through, but there could be a case made that hey, listen, we have some basing right there. We pulled down and we touched it, and then it is off to the races. So there could be a case made for that level. I think there's numerous places that we can get short tomorrow with this much of a run up today. I just have a feeling that tomorrow we're going to be looking to get this thing short. All right, so do I have an entry that I love right now? No. I think there's better opportunities out there right now, but I would like to figure out a way to get the short tomorrow, the euro. Ideally 1:30:09. Again, we have an alert set up there. When we do push all the way back up, that's quite a big area, right? 130 being a big round number right in that same proximity. I think that'd be a great trade. But we got what 230 pips to go. That's 2 days worth of movement. Um, Again, could monetary policy move that? Yeah, it could. But right now we're kind of in the middle of this range, top to bottom, with not a lot of great levels. So I just feel like we'd be forcing much in here at this point. Okay, euro dollar. So talked about euro dollar rising up, and it is. We talked about a push, and it actually pulled back a little bit. We talked about when 1 o'clock came around. U.S. traders got back online. They pushed higher. They pushed it down a little bit, but again, the end result they still pushed it up, back up to that level. Um, Kind of the same thinking. Let's see. Um, yeah, we're kind of dealing with that 61.8 right now. This is that old level that we talked about, the 110.80. Um, I don't. This is kind of the same issue with the euro yen. Not a lot of clear bases and pops. It's a lot of kind of whips all back and forth. I mean, obviously we got to mark off this, right? That's the gap from last week, right? That never triggered the 126, right? We are looking for that level. Yeah, there's that little hiccup right there. Trying to see where we have potential reversals at. That's 1, 2, 3. This technically is 4, so that shouldn't actually hold. Maybe in there. It's an okay drop. Actually, let's mark that just a little bit. Let's do the top there. Probably one of those two. But again, same scenario. It's about 188 pips. That's 2 days of straight up. I don't think the European market is going to go that far, that fast, that consistently. I think it's more of a chop. So kind of the same feeling. Go to. Let's try this on a 4-hour. Yeah, it's lining up on that line. Yeah, see how it's lining up with kind of this little peak here. That heavy black line is the 50% retracement on the 4-hour high to low. Whoops. So I'm wondering if that's going to be our next. Let me see how many pips we got. 99. I'm going to set an alert on that one. So we're going to set an alert here only because it is, again, the distal side is actually a 50% retracement on the 4-hour. And again, 4 hours are big levels for institutions. So let's set an alert here. We're going to do 4-hour 50% fib supply. All right. So we're going to leave that one on there. So it's really the best. Like I said, there will be a retracement. It's finding the correct entry for it, I think, is what's going to be the big key to this one. But I do think we see the euro turn and roll. Now, pound, we just kind of triggered this Harry Potter. We were talking about a break above 152.23 or 152. It came up at base, it pulled back, and we're kind of sitting there right now. So again, going in the 10 o'clock time frame, we're seeing European strength come in. It's decent. It's already up over a 1-to-1 at this point. Right. So we're really shooting for this one to come all the way up. Let me see. What is the pound data for the rest of the week? Nothing. We have no major news for pound the rest of this week. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is going to be more yen based than anything else. But that's what we talked about yesterday, the 152 break, 152.24 break. Again, we got our pullback, we got our entry. It's long. It's already over a 1-to-1. So again, it's a free trade. You can't lose on this one. We'll see if it goes all the way up and gets the full profit target. Like I said, I think here's our target right now. 153.52, and again, probably running a little bit shy. But the 1 to 3 is sitting obviously all the way down here, right? Our 1 to 3 level is sitting right there at 153. There you go. Again, that's an 80 pip mover, so it's going to take a little time to kick in there. Pound dollar. So pound dollar is also doing kind of the same thing. We're looking for the 50% retracement level in this one as well, and we're starting to kind of come through. It's been a lot of time down here, right? You can see that we take a base in there. You can see 1, 2, 3. So obviously buyers there. Is that the ideal place to take it long for me? No. I mean, it's just hit it way too many times. So we know they're there. I don't need that level anymore. Let me pull this up to. Sorry, I wanted a 2-hour. Yeah, I think we're still waiting for that level. And again, remember, we're forecasting this down. If we do this right now, if we leave it, if that's the bottom, you can see that's the 23.6. We're looking for the push all the way down to 128.04. But if we do use that bottom on like a 2-hour basis, again, the 23.6 is sitting right at that level we marked off yesterday. So it looks like we're still hold that same thing. It doesn't look like anything has really changed. We're waiting for this one to continue up just a little bit more. Like I said, if we're trying to get kind of the true, probably more in there. Probably more like that. I could probably shrink this just a little bit more. Right there. 132.27. And again, right now the way that's lined up, again, to our full area of buyers, that's a 50% retracement. If I do the low to here, again, we're in that close proximity to the 23.6. The people that are looking for the pullback, again, it tends to stop them out just a little bit, goes a little bit above. Again, use that as a trigger, but lower your risk a little bit to the downside. All right. Dollar CAD. All right. So dollar CAD. Yesterday we had news. We knew we had the pull through, the base, the pullback in time for news. Again, the pullback behind news leads you to believe it's going to go higher. It did. So it jumped. Today we got about 30 minutes to go for this one. With the pushing back down, this is kind of the recoupling effect of it. It did kind of what it was supposed to do. If you use the 1 candle base up top as your risk level, you can see that we hit it, we pulled down again, touched it, and then the Europeans kind of stepped in right here and continue to drive it back down. And we're going back to that same level, the one that we hit, we base, we hit, we base, we hit, and then use it as the top. So we're going to remove that level right now. I just want to kind of clear these off. Let's drag this up. We can see right now, 50 is not really giving us much. The 61.8 is giving us something. So there's kind of a hidden level in there. Let's pull this from the other way and see as far as entries go. Yeah, there's nothing fib wise there, but this is what I'm looking at right now, right? Along these lines, right there. And again, we need a little bit of a confirmation going on this one, but it's a break of 127.96. We're looking for this one. And again, profit target wise, there's a little hiccup there that's a little bit kind of in the middle. But again, we have plenty of room until we get all the way back down to this time frame here. So I would say the overall target on this one would be whoops, green and black. But a Harry Potter entry, confirmation entry of 127.96, with eventual profit targets at 127.12. And again, we recouple back to oil. This absolutely is going to drop. Swiss, we're grinding. We drew this line yesterday. As you can see, we're slowly grinding down. We're slowly trying to get back down to there. We're looking for overall short targets down to 92.41. And then we're looking for the US data right here, right? The core CPI. We were looking for a big pop off of that. So it's moving slowly. Hopefully, it gets all the way down from now till tomorrow. If not, there is another zone we could potentially use in this level. But we're looking for this one to again get to a good position to go long before that news. Anticipation for kind of a nice little bounce out of it, right? CPI expected to be better than forecast. Pound yen. So we had marked this one off. Again, we talked about that 50% level when we kind of drew it. And again, if we bring this to the top, the actual touch, you can see that now it's moved just from distal to proximal side. We talked about shorts at 115.86. At this point, I don't think you're not out 3-1, but you're definitely two. Yeah, two is right there. So it made it to 2.67, right? Three is right there. It's 2.99. So yeah, we're still in this position. Again, I'm okay with this one. It made it almost all the way to the profit target. It kind of gave us a funky. It was the 9 o'clock candle that kind of made this one weird. But again, I see this one deteriorating down. I definitely do like the 115.28 a lot better now. Particularly as again in a short trade, it would be more of a target right now. But in preparation for the CPI news for tomorrow, if we can come back down, let's mark the CPI news tomorrow, 8:30, right there. I think that gives us a great potential, right? If we can rally all over, if we can push all the way back down, down on 115.28, definitely a potential for a long opportunity. I think Nadex wise tomorrow. I think watch that one. It it may have too much premium to trade in it. I don't really know. We'll see what the contracts are printed. I don't know. Maybe if we can get down there today, there may be an opportunity to take some type of a position in that one. Something a little bit farther out of the money. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. All right, I did mention cryptos, and I want to kind of keep those in. So all the cryptos took a big, crazy jump forward. The reason why, and again, I talked about it a bit earlier, was that Biden, 3 hours ago, basically saying, "Yep, we're finally going to do this." Right? We issued an executive order on digital assets. He didn't say cryptos, right? He said digital assets again, digital dollar, right? It didn't announce any regulations, but said, "Hey, listen, you agencies, you need to develop some recommendations," right? He didn't mention China. China already has recommendations. China already has a live test. What's interesting is listen, this is focusing on consumer protection, right? Which I get, right? I get. Financial stability. Okay, it's up, $3,000 in one day. It's up 8%. Not necessarily the most stable thing in the world. So we'll see, what he says with that. And then again, talking about illicit finance. Okay, I think that's going to be the main linchpin in this right now. Basically, it's how do we protect money laundering? How do we make it so crypto cannot be used for money laundering? Number two, how do we tax it? Is what they're looking for. Okay, they're promoting U.S. leadership, which is already too late. That ship has sailed. China has crushed us on that one. We hopefully we can get a seat at the table, but right now China has already taken that over. And then again, financial inclusion and responsible innovation. I think the responsible innovation is pretty an interesting part. But anyway, basically means that it is finally getting some credibility, hence why they all jumped. Now, do I think this is a justified jump? The answer is absolutely no. I'll tell you right now, when they look at it, when you have a currency that you, I mean, here's the thing. So, again, I'm not a crypto expert, but again, the whole idea of cryptos is that you can, have it in a wallet. You can take that wallet, wherever you want to go. When you can go around sanctions with things like crypto, yeah, I understand. I understand why people like it, right? Um, I understand kind of all the benefits they tell you. I mean, the reality is, can you track it? Yes. Can you claw it back? Yes. Can it be stolen from you and you'll never get it back again? Absolutely. Um, is it for a lot of people, a get rich scheme? Yes. Do I know a ton of people that have lost money trying to trade cryptos? Yes. Is everybody an expert in cryptos whenever there's a pop? Absolutely. Do they have any idea really what they're trading? No. So, things like Dogecoin, right? It has no limiter. They can make it can be mined forever, meaning that it will get lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. And people just see another currency. So, do I think in 5 years will all countries have a digital currency? Yes. Do I think they're going to regulate and outlaw a lot of these other cryptos? I think they're going to be highly regulated, and yes, I think the transparency will be absolutely insane. Okay. In the financial services industry, a lot of the big questions that you ask people is about foreign bank accounts. I think a lot of these accounts, particularly in crypto, are going to start be considered foreign bank accounts. Why? Because if the United States doesn't know what you're doing, you're making money, you're not paying taxes on it, right? Um, I just think the nature of it, I think, is going to be a lot harder to track. And if they do start tracking it to their liking, it no longer has the anonymity that a lot of the crypto people in the beginning liked. So, yeah, I mean, is it going to be another tradable asset for the foreseeable future? Yeah, I think so. But when you have countries starting to use it and you say, you have countries like Russia saying, okay, put sanctions on the dollar. You've weaponized the dollar, screw the dollar. We're just going to use cryptocurrencies then. That's not necessarily the recognition that you want. So again, is there shorting opportunities? Yeah, I think so. But Bitcoin is up big. Ethereum, obviously, it looks exactly the same. There's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum. It looks exactly the same. Even Dogecoin, they all look exactly the same. So, you know, it's always great to say, hey, listen, I got into this from the beginning, man. I was buying Bitcoin back when it was $200 and it went all the way up. And it's like, well, great. You're an idiot because it went to what, 60? Was that the high? And now it's down at 40 and you're bragging about how great you were, but you've lost 30% of your gains were. So, the price is, 30% lower. So it's one of those things. It's another asset you can create. Absolutely. Is it a buy and hold thing? Is it a long-term investment? No. Are you getting dividends for holding it? No. So I don't know. I just say be careful with it. If you can make money on a daily basis, absolutely go ahead and do it. Go for it. It's no different than another stock, another ETF, another option contract. Yeah, I mean, it's no different, right? I think is again, as the dollar starts rising, as we go into a dollar interest rate environment, it's also paying you to hold dollars. It's not paying you to hold Bitcoin. So there are large money practices right now when you don't get anything for holding currency. Like if you can hold a digital dollar that you're getting a 1 or 2% return on for holding, doing nothing with it, sitting in your account, versus Bitcoin that does nothing, the big money's going with the guaranteed money. So just keep that in mind. Let's go across and let's cover the indices real quick, and then again, actually no, we'll do the other commodities, but I'm going to hold on oil until the very end. Um, So we knew we had a bit of a pullback area, right? We talked about this yesterday. It wasn't the cleanest level. I mean, it was a level that had been hit multiple times, right around the 6 and 1 8. Look, base, touch, push it to the brink. Probably not going to hold. Based in front of it, pulled back, and again, use that kind of upper level to kind of continue to go lower. I think natural gas does go lower. Again, hearing Italy say that we're going to produce more of it. Right now the cancel culture is like we're going to cancel everything that is Russian. Yeah, okay. Um, Obviously, it's getting warmer outside. More people are like, yeah, we can produce natural gas. Yeah, yeah, we can unite on natural gas front. Natural gas was very, very high earlier in the week. And again, it's just retracing back down again. I think the levels that we look for, and again, we talked about this Harry Potter trade. I just deleted it, but we talked about a Harry Potter trade down here. We had not gotten an entry or break of $4.37. We may want to adjust it slightly. We may want to put it down a little bit lower because we did have that push in. We're looking for really some type of a base and a pullback. It's not there yet, but right now, again, we have a downward channel that we seem to be following. And again, we have our multiple touches on the top. We have our almost 3 to the downside, right? It's a little bit off. And those actually, you could draw them a little bit higher, but we're in a downward channel. So I think natural gas continues to degrade. It does have inventory on Thursday. Right now, I think this one is kind of running out of steam. The volatility has just been absolutely insane. It's technically up today 0.27%, while oil is completely deteriorating, being down 5.7%. Oil was down a little bit worse, but again, it's coming back with Europeans. I think be very very cautious with natural gas. It is one of those very geopolitical exposed things. Okay, gold. Gold is collapsing. We said yesterday, make sure you get short. Not necessarily the best environment. Can gold spike through? A lot of that's going to depend on the CPI number, right? Or any Fed comments. I did say it was definitely something we'd be willing to, should be looking to get short. Unfortunately, you may or not have gotten entered. There was a one candle top on it, and it wasn't really a top. It was literally up and down. That's kind of a big zone, but you see, if you box off the candle the correct way that we teach you how to, it did come back. It did touch it, right? Late last night at midnight, and then just deteriorated all the way through. It did have a hiccup right down here where basically what we mentioned was the profit target. You can see it base going through there and then finally collapse down. Um, broader scale wise, we know that the gap is sitting right here, and we know that the gap has been touched. We're pretty close to it right now, and that's around the 1970. 1970 is a $100 drop in oil from its peak yesterday, or I'm sorry, gold. So I'm actually kind of hoping that this starts to rally back a little bit. One of the things that I'm, if we take it from where it is right now, you can see that the 50% retracement is also throwing us back up into kind of a supply zone sitting right there. If we can push up into that area, I think that could be a decent level to short gold tomorrow before CPI. Again, if that number's high, remember, gold is a hedge against inflation, a rising interest rate environment. If inflation is even higher than it was, that's more reason why the Fed they have to raise interest rates to crush them back down again. Again, that's the exact opposite of the time when you wanted to get into gold. You want to get gold in the beginning, right? You want to hedge against, inflationary environments. The focus is to get rid of inflation. So again, not really where you want to be. Now, silver, silver is also kind of at a weird place. We talked about that 50% level, and again, it was a top, a top, a top. It based around. It was a bottom, it was a bottom. It based around. I do think silver comes back down to the 25, 20-ish area. It's been hit a few times, so it's not even an area where I'm willing to go long. But I do think silver continues to deteriorate. I'm very curious to see what is kind of the next headline for silver. The reason why, China's growth, and again, China's having some problems right now with commercial construction, things like that. Um, Silver is actually driven a lot by China. Okay, it is definitely an industrial metal that is used. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, nickel. Right, we don't talk about nickel. I'm not talking about the currency piece. I'm talking about the metal, nickel. Right, nickel was at an all-time high yesterday. Yesterday, day before. Okay, right now, the biggest question, and right now everyone's saying, "Oh, gas is so high, I'm going to go EV." Well, I hate to tell you right now that we don't have enough nickel supply to be able to fund the EV kind of forecast of what people think they want to got, what they want to buy. Okay, now I'm willing to admit I hate paying for gas. I think EV sounds like a really really cool alternative, but you're going to pay a premium. You've always paid a premium. Unfortunately, nickel is one of those things that is in extremely high demand for EV cars. Okay. Nickel is at an all time high and probably not going to go back. Right. Not anytime soon. Right. It's not going to go to all time lows. That's kind of where the supply bottleneck is right now. So, I think all these metals are pretty decent. The reason they've pulled back is again because what we have, nickel is an industrial metal versus a currency hedge. Gold is kind of big money. Silver is kind of like the poor man's way to play the kind of the currency hedge, and that's why it tends to have a bit more of a beta moving around. But gold being down 2.7, thankfully silver is not down more than that. Again, it does have an industrial basis, but gold being right around that 2000 mark again, right? 1995. It's a big fall from where it was yesterday, right? And again, if we can run back up again, I think there could be a potential short right here at 2031, right? And again, messing with a 50% retracement off of this low. And again, even if it decides to push down a little bit farther, say it goes down to that $100 drop, you can see that 50% number right there. Look at this. It can go a lot. It can go a lot farther between that entire area around the 50 is a hot button for us. So if the bottom is in, we're good. The distal line is on that supply zone. If it comes down a little bit more and tags it at 100, tags the gap from last week, again, the 50 is bisecting the supply sell zone. If it even goes to the far side, the distal side of that same area, to the peak of where it dropped on Monday, The 50 is still sitting inside of that same supply zone. All right. So I think it's definitely an area to watch out for. But 2030 in gold, I think, is a big one. Silver, again, I'm not super interested in silver, but I do think silver drops all the way back down to these lower levels in here. Okay. Um, gold, let's see what oil's doing right now. Yeah, so in the Natick section, I talked about 116 as being kind of a bottom target. You can see it actually touched right here. You guys can see that it touched right there. Um, Move that out of the way. There's the bottom. There's the bottom, and we talked about it kind of potentially rolling back higher. Again, I just put it back up to the 50, but right now it's bouncing off that level. It's up probably a 2-to-1 from there. Let's see on a lower time frame if we're getting any stabilization. I can tell you right now, in the 30-minute, we're not really at a level. It's starting to pull back. We still got about 10 minutes. It is starting to hold and stabilize. It's not in a zone though, which sucks. It is kind of pulling back into a zone. It looks like it's trying. 10-15, 10-14. It's an okay stabilization, but I do like this one right now. I do like the buyers that are stepping in right there. Right. I want to see if this push right now with 9 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go, if we're pushing into there, if that's where the hold level will be. It's close. I don't know. We'll have to come back to it in a couple minutes. But it looks like right now, I would say it looks like it's more set up for a long. Right. It has hit it a few times, but it's done pretty decent in its pops, and it is driving in right before. We need it to start holding. Right. We need price to stop. There's a price stop. And and it is in a zone, but it was a little tiny bit earlier from what we typically like. So we'll see. This one's right there. Let's go and do the ES real quick. Drop it back to a 15. So for the Natick session, I talk about 42.63. You can see at the 9 o'clock time frame right there. We kind of drove forward. Actually, this one's interesting. At 9:45, 9:30, and 9:30 missed it by just a little bit. Kind of that entry going in. Talked about this. I mentioned that listen, if we do the recent high to low, we were approaching that 50% target. We did yesterday have a push into it, and it was a pretty drastic. It was kind of a parabolic move in, parabolic move back out again. Buddy, you awake now? Here, almost done, buddy. There we go. Here, rotate this way. There we go. You can watch. So what's interesting about this one is we're approaching a 10:30 reversal time. We're approaching a 50% level pullback in the fib. We do have a confirmed zone, although it did drive pretty deep in. You can see that it drove really up to that line, which again didn't quite make it there. But we know that sellers have stepped in at a higher spot versus a lower one. So it's I'd say right now, purely technical basis, 10:30 reversal, 50% fib retracement, supply zone confirmed. We're in a short right now for the ES for a pullback. Again, do I think today we will have a bit more of a rally in preparation for CPI? Yeah, I do. Are we going to reverse and turn from here? It's set up. So, I mean, again, if you're purely a 100% fib-based trader, here you go. We're set for this one, again, with that breach. Okay. It looks something like this. Okay. Right there. Hold on. Let me remove. All right. 1 of 3 is right there. So, all right. So you're in. NQ. Now, NQ, we were going to look for this one to rally a little bit more. We wanted to see what it did with this zone. We knew we didn't have sellers until a little bit higher, and it looks like that's the sellers that it ran into. I actually like the racetrack on this one. And again, I know this goes kind of counterbalance to what we're seeing in the ES. I'm really, I don't know if we're going to get to it today. It is already up 2.3%. It's up 365 points at this point. I was looking for a pullback and then using this as a base to go higher. I kind of want this one to go up. I want to be around the 13,873 before the CPI data tomorrow. Is it possible to get that entire run today? Oof, it is, but it's going to take something. There's going to have to be some type of a headline to get that far. You guys can say, yeah, I mean, absolutely without a doubt. I mean, this was great news that we had yesterday from 11:45 to 12:30. That was the move. That puts us beyond where that target needs to be. So it's possible. We can absolutely get there in the next 24 hours. Question is, though, I mean, you can see this was a fast retrace. Today, it's been pretty much straight up. If we take, and again, that was European session is, hold on, I'll show you what I'm trying to do here. If we take this from the 3 o'clock window, which is right here, now you can see it's right up to the 13,783. Okay, so it's not doing it in a spike. It's being more grindy, but it is definitely a possibility for tomorrow. It is well within range. So I kind of want to see this one kind of turn and roll. The ES trade is more of a today thing. This NQ one is kind of more set up for tomorrow morning, and I'm looking for this for CPI. And again, that CPI number, I think they're going to miss. Okay. YM, also looking for this one to go higher. And again, we know that we're kind of at fib level, and you can see this one is quite choppier, right? We know we have sellers coming in at 33,360. And again, we knew, again, I drew this horizontal line, I'll remove it. We knew we had sellers stepping in. We knew that they pushed here, and we're back in that same level. So if you mark off kind of where the sellers were, it's at a 50%. It's at where sellers are. It is also in kind of a precarious position. Again, are we going to see profit taking? It's possible. It's definitely possible. And then Russell is going. Again, we talked about this level up here. It was a tested level. It was tested one time, 2015. You can see that it hit it and pulled back, hit it and pulled back, hit it and pulled back, hit it and pulled back. It's having problems with the same sellers that stepped in here and here. Also at 10:30 in the morning. So ES is at a level at the reversal, the common reversal time, and a 50% retracement. NQ is already kind of pushing through, right? It was a little bit above already. And again, NQ is the strongest today. So we're kind of looking for this one really to kind of weather today and go higher. YM at a potential reversal area at a 50% retracement level. And Russell, same thing. Russell is at a level where the sellers, two confirms at a 61.8. It is close. And again, as I said, it's 1026. So they are all right about at the same level. So let's check to see what oil's doing now. Well, it looks like it's trying to hold there. You like that, buddy? So oil looks like it is using that level to hold. So does it have enough room to pop? Let's see here. Yeah, there's one at 3.8. So it does have enough room to pop up to 118.22. But yeah, it looks like it is holding on that level. So yeah, it looks like it's a pre-set up trade here. So let's go back. Oh, I have to take all again. We're gonna start seeing this here in a second. Whoops. All right. We got a couple more minutes to go, so don't forget. Let me drag this one in. Make sure you get your tickets in for today. Marina won yesterday, so everybody else will be going for 50. Marina will be going for her 100 today for her pip chips. I'll just remind you, so that way after the oil number drops, we can just do the drawing. I can feel my voice is definitely collapsing, and I'm probably not going to talk today. Hoping I have a voice for tomorrow. If you can get in. So Aki's in. Who we got here? Briggs is in. Marina is in. Debbie. Ernest is asleep at the wheel again. I know he's over there. I know Ernest is not just being nice today. Will is in. Sean is in. The usual suspects. And look at that. It's starting to hold here. So we got 2 minutes. Let's see if there's any other. See if there's any other headlines out here. Look at that. JOLTS data came in. There's more job openings. And again, that's been the excuse. The labor market, the labor market. Well, you're hiring more people back. So what else we got? Anything more? No, Zelensky, same thing. So yeah, it's amazing. All the data we've had, like the play-by-play, right? Russian tank 27.5 across the border. Russian tank number 529. It was like bingo, right? Now we're not hearing much. Actually, let me see the three things I'm going to talk about. Yep. How did the war in the Ukraine? Yep. The main event for the trading week is scheduled tomorrow. 6 weeks ago, the previous bank hinted at a policy normalization, taking financial. Yep. So again, it looks like Ukraine is still the big linchpin. And if they say that it is the threat of Ukraine spilling into the EU is lessening, that could be a huge boom for the euro. So we need to see some pullback. All right, let's see. We got 2 minutes to go. Maybe they give it to us early. I'm the nicest one in here. Yes, I am. Ernest, you keep telling yourself that. If you keep saying it, Ernest, maybe it'll come true one day. Maybe it will come true. Look at oil's already starting to push off that level. Heck, it's at what, a 2-to-1 right now? Yeah, it's at a 2-to-1 right now. I don't know, with this last minute rise, this may this last minute rise, it may be we're taking off early. Yeah. It's already at you're already at a 1 to almost a 1 to 2, so yeah, we'll see. Um, we'll see what it comes in as. God, I wonder if it's gonna be a huge number today. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Oil is definitely all eyes are on oil right now. It's like it's just hold, hold, hold. Nope. Looks like price is jumping. Price is jumping down a little bit. Price is jumping down. Look, it's trying. It's trying. Oh, come on. I know the number's out. I know the number's out. And there was the pop on it. Come on. I know the number's out. You're out of the trade, it looks like already. Yeah, you just ding the top right there. So it's officially out. Your 1 to 3 was in. So, all right, come on, give us the number. I know you have it. There you go, minus 1.9. So isn't that funny how API number is a $2.8 million surplus or 2.8 million barrel surplus, and yet over here it comes in. But it's still, again, is it a down draw? Yeah. This is showing a bigger down draw than was expected. So again, um, your 1 to 3 is out. You can see it is going much farther above. And there was the stabilization that we needed. We talked about it pulling back in those pre-hours. And then again, 5 minutes before, what did price do? It stopped, right? It stopped and boom, there's your off to the races trade. So you're out. Your 1 to 3 is done. Another oil release that again, 35 and 1. It's the way to go. It's a fun, and like I said, the 35 and 1, just so you guys all know, it works for all the news events, but particularly for oil. Again, holding, stabilizing, pulled back to a level just minutes before, and actually started to take off a little bit in advance. But again, you still should have been, once this stopped, you still should have been able to take this one for 1 to 3. So not bad. And now it's starting to reverse back here. So, all right, let's go ahead and do the drawing. We will close this down. And the winner of today's drawing is Mr. Nice Guy. Look at that, Mr. Nice Guy. Oh, he went in big. I didn't even see that. Had I seen this, I'd have made a big deal about it and be like, look at this. Who's going to come to Marina's response here? So Ernest used 40 pip chips to get 50. So not a very good use of time, but he is still positive. You know, Ernest scalped it basically today, right? Actually, I guess it's 30. He used 30 pip chips to go for 50. So he was net positive 20 today. So not even like a regular day win, but he is positive. So we'll mark that one as complete. Let's go over there and give Ernest his 50 pip chips. Where's he at? Let's see how far behind he is at this point. Get him his 50. Look at that. Debbie's holding on. Debbie's got about 700 points there. Debbie's holding Ernest is banned by himself. Yeah. No, he's not banned yet. Not yet. Not yet. The second, I will say, Ernest, I should give you extra pip chips. I made that comment picking on you about the cauliflower, right? Talking, exchanging buffalo cauliflower with Joel. But then when you talked about the price of cauliflower, I had to say that was a great rebuttal. I give you props for that one, my friend. That was awesome. And at the same time, I do believe on your Instagram page, you do have a picture of buffalo, cauliflower wings. And they actually looked amazing. I do like cauliflower. I've never tried buffalo cauliflower wings, but I really feel like I've seen a picture of you having buffalo cauliflower wings on your Instagram page and they looked amazing. So maybe that's where we're all headed, right? When all things are cauliflower. So, all right, that's it. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go save my voice till tomorrow. Hopefully I can broadcast. We will see. With that said, have a great day today, trading. Watch out for those headlines. And again, prepare yourselves for CPI tomorrow. I think it's going to be a big release. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes in. It's like I don't know. If it breaks 1, it's going to be pretty crazy. But yes, I do. They actually were great. I think CPI is going to be a great trade setup tomorrow morning. And again, markets rally today. Big CPI number tomorrow should be a red day tomorrow, or at least a red open. So with that said, I'm out of here. You guys take care. Have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.